Never a doubt. It was never a doubt, chat. Welcome into the Mizzou That's Who postgame show. The Missouri Tigers win 23-17 in double overtime. First road victory of the year for the Missouri Tigers. And they get a win at Jordan-Hare, something they hadn't done in quite some time. Some bad juju going on at Jordan-Hare. I'd be okay if Mizzou didn't have to go back there for a while. That stadium, man. House of horrors. It is a house of horrors, especially if you are a Mizzou kicker. You do not want to step foot into that stadium. Appreciate everyone hanging out with me live at the time here on KC Sports Network, the KCSM Mizzou channel, also my Twitter account as well. Appreciate you guys. Hit that like button, hit the subscribe, also follow as well. Overall, let's talk overall, then we'll break down the game, guys. Overall thoughts, my overall thoughts from this game. That certainly was a football game. Chat. This is one of the games at the end of the year that you're going to be thankful that you won. This is going to be one of the games at the end of the year that you're going to say, remember that Auburn game? And you're going to say, I try not to remember that Auburn game. This is one of those games that you are glad it's a win. And that's all you'll say about it. This is a game where, thank goodness, they got the W. Thank goodness Missouri got the W and was able to get the heck out of Jordan-Hare before it turned midnight. Because, boy howdy, that was a game that I think... I don't know if it told... Look, I know going into this week, I think that I said that this game was going to tell us a lot about this Missouri Tigers football team. And I think it does to an extent of they're able to battle back through adversity. We've seen it in spurts already this year, right? Their ability to battle through adversity and come out on the other side. But man, they've had some, they just could not get anything going on offense. The defense was incredible. We knew that about this defense. The Auburn offense wasn't necessarily star-studded, but we knew that the Tigers defense is legit. Both Tigers defenses were legit. I think Auburn, legitimate defense. That team, they were stuffing the run. That front that the Auburn Tigers have is no joke. That is a no-joke defensive front. Get that game out of there. Thank goodness they don't have to go back to Jordan-Hare this year, at least. And they get the win, 23-17. Bo Perbula, 23 of 40. That's a 57% completion percentage. 252 yards, 2 interceptions. That's a passer rating of 100.4. Ahmad Hardy led the way in yards, 58 yards on 24 carries. Boa had 16 carries for 28 yards and a touchdown. 2 rushing touchdowns for Hardy as well. All of the scores coming on the ground for the Tigers. So shout out to them there. Donovan Adubele. Man, shout out Donnie Adubele. I don't know if he goes by Donnie, but that was the first thing that I said. So shout out Donovan Adubele. We got to give him air horns, guys. We got to give Adubele some air horns because he deserves it. 5 catches, 69 yards, leads the way. The freshman leads the way for the very first road game of the Missouri Tigers 2025 tenure. For the very first time in his college career, he goes on the road and he leads the team in receiving yards. So we're getting to a point where he's got to be on the field at all times because he is that dangerous of a weapon. Shout out to him. I also love to see Josh Manning get more involved. 5 catches for him on 61 yards for Kevin Coleman on 4 catches. Marquise Johnson, 26 yards on 4 catches as well. Overall, an offensive performance that will you're going to try to forget if you're the Missouri Tigers. If you're a Missouri Tigers fan, you're going to try to forget that offensive performance there. Let me know how you guys feel about this game in the chat. Thank goodness that they won this football game. That's all I got to say. Thank goodness they won this football game. We got to give a hat tip to the Missouri Tigers defense as well. Got to give a hat tip to the Tigers defense. 8 total tackles for Josiah Trotter. He leads the way for the Missouri defense, and man, that dude was all over the field. He was a stud. He was getting sent on blitzes. He was getting home. He was causing problems for the Auburn offense. Santana Banner as well, having 7 tackles. Marvin Burks with 5. Zion Young is a problem, guys. Zion Young is a problem for teams to scout against. He is going to play for a long time on Sundays. Zion Young is going to be playing for a long time on Sundays. 5 tackles for him, 3 of them solo, 2.5 are tackles for loss with 2 sacks as well on the day. Great day for Zion Young, getting back there, mixing it up for those sacks as well. McClellan adds a sack, as so does Sterling Webb as well. So Missouri had, it looks like, Josiah Trotter got a sack too. So they had 5 sacks on the day. And what I loved about that, about Zion Young, is him chirping in the huddle. He's out there, he's talking his talk, he's talking all that mess. When it says defense first, he's like, you guys better be ready. You guys better be ready for the defense. You guys better be ready for us. And they weren't. That Auburn offense was not ready for that Mizzou defense in overtime. He came out there, smacked him in the mouth. He comes up, has a really good run stop on first down. This is the first period of overtime I'm talking here. On first down in the first possession of overtime for Auburn, great run stop there from Zion Young. Second down, sack. Third down. They have a sack again? Taylor, appreciate you joining me, Taylor. Auburn's not a good football team. That also was going to play into this in our conversation down the road. But the plays that they made, that not Josiah Trotter, he made some huge plays too. The plays that Zion Young made swung that game. Travis Smith, shout out Travis in the chat. I'm glad you brought this up. He said, I love Zion, but I think he cost us the Alabama game. That crowd was so loud, he has to own that. Absolutely. I'm sure he does. I'm sure he does own that. And that penalty was so, I do think it had a huge impact of that game. You get off the field on third down. Man, on a 3rd and 15, you're able to get off the field and then get the ball back in pretty decent field position and have all that momentum. You feel pretty good. But Zion obviously learned from his mistakes there. No penalties from his end, I should say. No penalties from his end on this one in this game. I was just waiting for an unsportsmanlike conduct penalty to hit, and I would have been so pissed. David Wilson also playing great. Shout out Morgan. Thank you for joining me, guys. Morgan, Scott, Taylor Edmonds, appreciate you guys. Tony, Mizzou 19, Stephen Talbot, Tyler Collins, Michael Blair, Mayhem the Maker, Darren, shout out Darren. Thank you guys for all hanging out with me. William as well. Thank you guys. Stuart at T in the chat. Yeah, appreciate you guys all in the chat. It's huge getting this road win here. Big momentum builder. It was big for Missouri's defense as well. A confidence builder doing this against a team where, look, last time, let me double check this here, guys. Let me go double check this this stat. Let's see. We're looking for third downs. Okay. Missouri, 8 of 17 on third downs. Auburn was 6 of 16. That's a way better percentage than it was last week. 0 for 1 on fourth downs as well for them. So Missouri coming into it, the defense struggled getting off the field. The defense struggled getting off the field, and the offense struggled to stay on the field. They did that better in this game. Now, obviously, Auburn is not as good as Alabama. That's true. But Auburn's defense is pretty damn legit. Like, I think Auburn's defense is very, very legit. Michael Blair says like and subscribe came up huge tonight too. Yeah, dude. Especially with an overtime game, you guys had to be subscribed for when we were hitting live. We were not. I usually try to guesstimate when I'm going to go live. I think 10:15 was the first line I set. Blew past that, especially with overtime. Make sure you hit that like and subscribe so you know when we go live. Tyler Collins says, when we missed that kick, I was thinking, oh boy, here we go again. Same, Tyler. Auburn is a house of horrors. I know I said it at the beginning of the show, and I'm going to say it again. It's a house of horrors for Missouri kickers. For Missouri kickers, it is a house of horrors. I would not want to be there. Clayton asked, did you see Trotter hurdle that RB trying to chip on the last play? Holy shit. Trotter's a dog, guys. Trotter is a dog. Like, Missouri's got a bunch of dogs on that defensive line. Trotter is a Sunday player as well. His whole family is Sunday players. He's for damn sure a Sunday player. Like I mentioned, let me go back to his stats. I mean, this is just like the stat sheet, right? So sometimes it's kind of hard, especially with defensive players, to really, well, his stat line makes it pretty easy to tell how good he was in this game. 8 tackles, 7 of them solo, 1 sack, 2 tackles for loss, 1 quarterback hit, and he was all over the place, man. He was all over the place. The defense played their ass off. Truthfully, frankly, the Missouri defense played their ass off tonight. They are the reason that Missouri won this football game. Missouri's defense is the reason that they won this football game. You're right, Steven. He does look good in coverage. We'll see about the Chiefs. We will see about the Chiefs, Clayton. Hopefully it's stress-free. They're playing the Raiders, man. I hope it's stress-free. Missouri's defense in this game came up, as I mentioned, on third downs, time and time again. Time and time again, they came up big on third downs. They were Auburn 6 of 16, way better than what they were last week. Obviously, Ty Simpson balling out against Tennessee today. Like, he might be the Heisman. Ty Simpson is a damn good quarterback, guys. Alabama is a damn good football team. Like, I think Alabama, I think Alabama's going to be a team you're not going to want to see in January. I think that's a really good football team. I don't think that loss will look awful on Mizzou's resume. The defense in Missouri is going to be the reason that Missouri is going to stay in a lot of these games. The Augustus 24 says our defense was the reason we were in position to win last game. 100%. It was the defense is going to be the reason from here on out why this team it can be successful. It is going to be because of the defense. Taylor Edmonds says, not going to lie, if Cook played like Bo down the stretch but made that play in OT, we'd be saying how gritty and determined he is. Hope Bo can springboard from this. It was a rough day for Bo. It was a rough day for him. He was under duress like no other. As I mentioned, I think we talked about it already, guys. Like, that Auburn front is pretty damn... It's not as good as Mizzou's front. I think Mizzou's front might be the best in the SEC. The front 7. But Auburn's is top 5 at least. Like, that is a damn good defense that Auburn has. I know that all the people were freaking out about Mizzou's offense, and yeah, there's some reason for concern. There's some cause for concern, especially the last 2 weeks. Now you face some pretty decent competition, and all of a sudden, all of this offense it looks like that you don't have it anymore. That's cause for concern, obviously. But I think that the defenses they have played have just been unreal. The defenses they have played in Auburn and Alabama have been 2 really good defenses. And they haven't played up to that level on the offensive side of the ball, but they've done enough to win this game against Auburn 23-17 in double OT. Shout out to making that big, huge play on third down. Had to have it. Finds Kevin Coleman for first down. It was great to see him make that play. Great to see Kevin Coleman make that play. Great to see it. Great to see it all. Overall in the game, Auburn ends up outgaining Mizzou, 357 yards to 343 total yards. Kind of crazy. Only 91 yards on the ground for Mizzou, 150 on the ground for the Auburn Tigers. 4 drops on the day for Auburn as well. So they did have some drops and that were definitely not helping Jackson Arnold. Missouri does have 1 fumble, but not lost. No fumbles for Auburn. Interceptions, there were 2, I believe, by Bo Perbula and 1 from Jackson Arnold. 1 from Jackson Arnold that Missouri gets only 3 points out of. Their first points of the day were that one. So, yeah. All right, chat. I got to take a break. When we get back, we'll talk about the flow of the game, all of the stats that we need to know heading from this one. But the biggest one you need to know, the biggest stat you need to know before we take a break. 23-17, Missouri Tigers win. That's all that's going to matter at the end of the day. That's all that's going to matter at the end of the year. That's all that's going to matter. Let's take a break. We'll be back right after this to talk more Tigers football. Calling all Chiefs fans, you could be on the field at the 50 inside GEHA Field for the official coin toss at a Chiefs home game this season. Visit Chiefs.com/GEHA now. Enter to win a chance to be on the field for a once-in-a-lifetime view of the pre-game coin toss. Plus, you can score other exclusive prizes. Enter for a chance to win at Chiefs.com/GEHA. GEHA is the proud partner of the Kansas City Chiefs.
My name is Terrell Jolly. A lot of people call me TJ, founder and CEO of Integrity Capital Management. So Integrity Capital Management originally started out as a property management firm, but we slowly transitioned into what is described as an incremental development firm that's focused on situational housing. I know most people say affordable, but we believe in creating housing for people that are actually in need and built to the end user. I believe everyone needs a home because when you have home, you have hope. The reality is that when you're building a business, one thing you don't think about is like what a true banking relationship means. And, I had the honor and privilege of meeting Debbie early on in my career when I was just trying to get going. And as a small business, it's really challenging at times because people don't understand the concept or not believe the longevity because you're just getting started. But Debbie was willing to take a chance on me, be patient with me. I almost look at it like a grassroots initiative. She's seen and believe what I'm about. Anybody that's really true about their business and want to get some things done, I would definitely trust hands down Emprise because Deb's team, along with Aaron and Jackie and all the amazing people that work behind the scenes, even from the treasury side, I would say, hey, give them an opportunity because you won't be disappointed and you will actually be in hands that actually somebody care and that will see you from start to finish.
Tigers beat the Tigers 23-17 on a late Saturday night, going into double OT. Appreciate you guys hanging out with me here. Let's talk about the flow of this game. Shout out to everyone joining me in the chat. I see Steven Talbot saying his turning point was forcing back-to-back punts. The Campbell Cooks, hell of a win, MIZ. ZOU to everybody out there as well. All right, let's get into the flow of this game. Auburn started with the football. Missouri won the toss, chose to defer, which is usually what people end up doing. People of a higher intellect end up deferring. But Auburn starts with the football. They take a 12-play, 75-yard drive to the house, and then Missouri follows it up with a 6-play drive leading to a punt. Auburn then throws the interception on there's a second play of the drive that led to a Mizzou field goal. Ultimately, that pushed the game to 7-3. Auburn then punted the next drive to give it back to Missouri, who then took the lead on a 9-play, 65-yard drive, taking about 4 minutes and 48 seconds of the game clock. Getting kind of back into that Mizzou football that we have known, that we've kind of grown to be used to. So that time of possession team that they get the football and they get after it. They hold the football. After that, after the touchdown, Auburn then punted back after a 3-and-out. Missouri then throws the interception, which leads to a Auburn field goal attempt just before half. That is missed. Missouri takes a 10-7 lead into the half. After that, I kind of felt pretty good, guys. I don't know how you felt after that. Especially, I see Steven in the chat says, I thought we were going to roll after that touchdown. Yeah, that touchdown, I mean, to put them up 10-7, you felt pretty good after that point. And then especially after the pit or the punt, the 3-and-out, you score the touchdown, force them on a 3-and-out. You're like, oh man, it feels good. The interception was at the end of a 12-play drive. Missouri was moving the football. It was a 6-minute drive that ended in an interception. Missouri was obviously trying to work to be in position to kick a field goal. Ultimately, does not lead that way because Auburn works the way down, misses a field goal attempt. They take a 10-7 lead into halftime. Then not a whole lot happened. After half, Missouri gets the ball. They get a 7-play drive that doesn't really go anywhere. 23 yards, ends in a punt. Auburn has a field goal attempt that they miss again. And then Missouri gets the ball back, which leads to a 5-play punt drive. Auburn responds with a touchdown, capping off a 12-play, 86-yard drive. That drive, you thought, oh boy. Oh boy, about 5 minute drive there for Auburn as they gave the ball back with only 35 seconds left in the third quarter for Mizzou. Still a lot of game left, but Missouri's 3-and-out to punt did not instill a lot of confidence in me personally. After that, I was not feeling too great. I believe it was what was the score at that point? It would have been 14-10 Auburn. Then Missouri 3-and-out punts. And then Auburn gets a field goal. They do another 8-play, another long drive for Auburn here. 8 plays, 73 yards, about 4 minutes of game time. They leads to a field goal. They go up by 17-7. Back-to-back punts for Mizzou. They go 6 plays, 27 yards, ends in a punt. A 3-and-out from Auburn after their punt. They punt it back to Missouri, where Missouri gets a touchdown. Missouri gets a touchdown on this drive. 5-play, 60-yard drive. Only a minute of game time taken up on this one with about 5 minutes left in the game. They give the ball back to Auburn, where they only allow Auburn to gain 35 yards on 6 plays, ending in a punt. Missouri is working their way down the field to try to take the lead, and this football game is tied 17-17 at this point. They're working their way in field goal range, and just kind of a catastrophic drive altogether, guys. Just a catastrophic drive altogether that ends in an interception. It's 11-play, only 44-yard drive that they go for, taking up 2 minutes and 40 seconds. Let's walk back play by play in that one, because I thought that was just kind of a drive that was so maddening for Missouri here. Missouri gets the ball. The game is tied. They have an Amar Hardy rush up the middle. This was after. That's when Zollers is in a quarterback. 2-minute timeout. Let's see here. Okay, Mizzou strike. Okay. Trying to read this here, guys. Sorry. My bad. That's Hardy's touchdown on 2nd and 3. Okay. This is where I need to go. Yeah. Okay. Here's the interception. Yes. So we get all the way down there. Missouri gets all the way down there. They stop. They use a couple of their timeouts. You're thinking, all right, maybe they can do it. Maybe they can on the Missouri 45. They get down. They're looking at the Auburn 30. Then they get backed up the sack to the Auburn 37. Timeout. Got to use your timeout. And then you have a 6-yard. That's the throw behind the line of scrimmage that goes out of bounds. 6 more yards. Now you're back to the Auburn 43. And then you have a false start that backs up to the Auburn 48. And then it's looking like, man, it's 3rd and 28 at that point. And it is not looking like you're in any sort of field goal range to even try to attempt a field goal. Bo says, let's try to get something for Marquise. T throws the interception. And with 18 seconds left on the clock, they take a knee down. They go into overtime. As I mentioned, in overtime, Missouri comes out. In overtime, the first period, they won the toss. Just a stuff from Josiah Trotter, a sack from Zion Young, a quarterback hurry from Josiah Trotter. You could have given up to the whole defensive line at that point, and then a no good field goal from 50 yards out. That's when Missouri had a lot of momentum, guys. Missouri had a ton of momentum at that point. And it felt like, oh, sweet. All they got to do is just kind of, I was worried that they were going to play for the field goal, and that's what they ended up doing. And they were going to miss the field goal, because that's what you get when you play not to win. When you play just to settle. They didn't play to win. They had an incompletion, short rush, then a sack. Brought it up 4th down. Robert Myers' kick goes wide left. Very close. Very close. Eli Drinkwitz thought it was in, but it was not. It was not in. So, Missouri starts. Missouri has to go from missing that field goal to then now starting the second overtime with the football. That is a tough switch to flip right there. You thought the game was over. Now you still have to play. And it looked like it took them a minute. First down, incompletion. Second down, incompletion. Oh, sorry. The first down was a completion, but it didn't gain any yardage. Would have been just as good as to be an incompletion. And then incomplete back to Marquise Johnson on two targets there. Timeout, Missouri. They got to think about this third down play. This third down play is huge because it's the game. They haven't gained a single yard. They're already kind of backed up, right, at the Auburn 25. That is now a, what would that be, a 32? No, 42-yard field goal, right? Yeah, 42-yard field goal for a kicker that you don't have a ton of confidence in making field goals like that. So this play was huge on third down. Bo faces a ton of pressure here, and he finds Kevin Coleman for 12 yards, first down, puts him at the Auburn 15, and then it was kind of, after that was over, you kind of felt like Mizzou was going to get in the end zone after they got that first down. Bo runs for 6 yards, Jamal Roberts 6-yard run, Jamal Roberts 6-yard run, or a loss of 2 yards, sorry, and then Bo's keeper. The 2-point conversion was no good. That made it 23-17. And the next play, next time Auburn got the ball, they went out and just kind of took it to him. Incompletion with a couple pressures from Khalil Jacobs, Zion Young. Arnold did complete a pass on this one, 7 yards, but Santana Banner made the tackle. They tried a run play to try to get some of it back so their fourth down wasn't as long, which I understand the thought process there. I really do, but it did not work. Chris McClellan absolutely smothered him for a loss of 2 yards. And then a huge play here from really the whole defense. Really the whole defense, a huge play to just send the house, pressure him, and make them not go anywhere. They said it was a pass complete. I don't think that. I think that they robbed of a sack. I think someone got robbed of a sack, guys. I think somebody got robbed of a sack in that one. I know they called it illegal touching, but I really don't think he was. I think he was down by the time he threw that ball. So there it is. Touchdowns from Ahmad Hardy twice, Bo Perbula in overtime. Yeah, that's how Missouri scores, and a field goal from Robert Meyer. Those are your touchdown scores, all on the ground, none of them through the air. What a day. What a day for the Missouri Tigers and the defense. Morgan Cavendish says, I can't stand the McPhersons. Yes, the kicker was a McPherson, and he is related to the Bengals McPherson. Kind of crazy. Kind of crazy. Thank goodness Missouri won that football game, guys. I mean, thank goodness. Thank goodness Missouri won that football game. It was going to be this is going to be a really depressing show if they didn't win it. If they didn't win that football game, it was going to be really depressing. There's some interesting storylines now coming up with Missouri at Vandy. Vandy coming off of a big win against LSU. A couple of one-loss teams in the SEC going at it next week in Nashville. Going to be a really good game. That's going to be a good game, guys. I saw some people in the chat throwing out, is that going to be game day? Game day possibly for that one? Maybe. We'll talk about it. We'll look at it. I'll probably look at it here in a little bit. Let me know what you guys think in the chat. Your turning points for the game. Anything about Mizzou, Auburn. I do got to take one more break to pay some more bills here. I'll take a break, and on the other side, we'll talk about some results that happened elsewhere in the SEC, maybe some college game day as well. Look at the schedule slate for next week to see if Missouri is going to be one of the featured teams on college game day. All right, don't go anywhere. Let's take a break. We'll be back right after this.
Looking to remodel your home and in search of a top-quality company to do the job? Contact Elenco. Since 1986, Elenco has been the remodeler of choice for customers throughout Kansas and Missouri. As a family-owned and operated business, Elenco provides customers top-quality products and unbeatable service straight from their family to yours. From windows and doors to siding, insulation, and bathroom renovations, there's no need that Elenco can't meet and exceed. Elenco only installs products that have proven track records of success, such as the Kohler Luckstone shower system. Elenco's installers are factory-trained professionals who know how to get the job done, not only quickly, but flawlessly. Whether you're located in Kansas City, Topeka, Wichita, or a rural town in northeastern Kansas or western Missouri, Elanco will come to you. Go to elancohome.com for more information. That's ALENCO home.com. Again, elancohome.com for more information and contact them about all your home improvement needs.
Chiefs Kingdom, I have got a question for you. What is your favorite touchdown? Well, for me, I can confidently say that my favorite touchdown, it's the next one, because with DraftKings Sportsbook, an official sports betting partner of the NFL, every touchdown could bring you closer to cashing in. From the first touchdown score to anytime touchdown props or the thrill of live in-game betting, every snap is loaded with opportunity. From spreads to money lines, same-game parlays, regular parlays, you want it, DraftKings has got it. Here's the best part. Bet just $5, and if your bet wins, you'll get $200 in bonus bets instantly. I use DraftKings Sportsbook, and you should too. Your team hitting pay dirt pays out to you. Download the DraftKings Sportsbook app now and use code KCSN. That's code KCSN to turn $5 into $200 in bonus bets if your bet wins. In partnership with DraftKings, the crown is yours. Gambling problem? Call 1-800-GAMBLER. In New York, call 877-8-HOPE-NY or text HOPE-NY 467-369. In Connecticut, help is available for problem gambling. Call 888-789-7777 or visit ccpg.org. Please play responsibly. On behalf of Boot Hill Casino and Resort in Kansas, fees may apply in Illinois. 21 plus age and eligibility varies by jurisdiction. Void in Ontario. Bet must win to receive reward. Minimum minus 500 odds required. Bonus bets expire 7 days after issuance. For additional terms and responsible gaming resources, see dkng.co/audio. Appreciate you guys hanging out with me here. Hit that like button, hit the subscribe button as well. News as we are recording the pod here. Missouri Vanderbilt will be at 2:30 Central Time start time. Mizzou Vandy, 2:30 Central kick. And Missouri's bowl eligible as well. Forgot about that. 6-1 now. The 6-1 Missouri Tigers now bowl eligible. Eligible to play in a bowl. 2:30 p.m. on ESPN. ESPN. Shout out to the knowing that. Shout out to knowing the game time. Huge to know the game time. Mizzou Vandy should be a fun one next week, guys. Should be a big matchup for that one. Gonna look up the FB schedules real quick for week 8. And meanwhile, while we're at it, Vandy does obviously beat LSU 31-24. Oklahoma gets a big win over South Carolina 26-7. Georgia beats Ole Miss. Big for Missouri in the AP rankings. Georgia beating Ole Miss 43-35. Man, Texas A&M dodged one. Last second field goal, 45-42 over the Razorbacks on the road. They do escape. The number 4 team in the country, the Texas A&M Aggies. Florida narrowly beats Mississippi State 23-21. Kentucky, Texas was one of those. I had it on the second screen as I was watching. I was trying to watch that one kind of devolve and unfold. Going for it when you get the ball at first. I mean, I understand the kahunas on it takes, but man, to put them in a tough spot. Kentucky falls to 2-4 on the year. They fall 16-13 to Texas. Is Texas okay? Is Texas okay, guys? Alabama rolls to a 37-20 win over the Tennessee Volunteers. Alabama, I think Alabama's a good football team. Curtis, yes. Florida did clinch the win thanks to a big guy interception. Huge. Shout out to the big guys. We love to see big guy interceptions here. This is a pro big guy interception podcast. We love to see it. All kinds of stuff going on in the SEC. Busy SEC slate. Tons of games. Tons of great games as well. That Georgia Ole Miss game just before Missouri Auburn. Phenomenal game. I believe the Florida Mississippi State game was on SEC Network before Missouri Auburn, so you kind of got to see the ending of that one going into it. Texas is not okay. Oklahoma looks better, or maybe South Carolina is just bad. Maybe that might be the conversation we need to have. So LSU loses. That's a top 5 team, top 10 team that loses. LSU loses. Ole Miss loses. Texas Tech also loses today. That's pretty crazy. Let me see if I can pull up a top 25 scoreboard here. I'll just scroll. Nebraska lost on Friday. That's the top 25 team. LSU obviously loses. Oklahoma gets 26-17 win. Indiana rolls 38-13 against Michigan State. Ohio State rolls 34-0. Ohio State pretty clear cut. I think the number 1 team in the country at this point. Ole Miss losing, obviously. SMU and Clemson wins the battle. SMU wins the battle of teams that were in the college football playoffs last year that have now played very well this year. That's good for them. North Texas gets after it after losing. They get bowl eligible. They go in 55-17 over UTSA. As I mentioned, Tech loses 26-22 to Arizona State, an Arizona State team that didn't have a lot of expectations coming into this year. Iowa barely beats Penn State 25-24. Oh, Tennessee. Yeah, Tennessee's number 11. Tennessee losing. Notre Dame pulls out the win over USC. That game was entertaining and fun at the same time that Missouri was going on. Utah loses. They're number 23 though. BYU stormed the field. I know they were betting underdogs in this one. I don't know, but they were ranked higher. They have a better record. They've beat Utah. I know it's a rival, but they've beat Utah the last 3 years. I didn't understand that field storm. I don't want to be the fun police guys, but I didn't understand that field storm. So a good position for Missouri to move up in the AP pool. Probably won't get a lot of love for being in a rock fight, truthfully, with Auburn taking them to double overtime. Probably fall 4 spots like they did to Vandy last year, remember? Remember when Mizzou won in overtime and they dropped 3 spots for beating a team? Ridiculous. Georgia Tech's number 12 in the country. That's crazy. I guess they're still undefeated. I didn't realize they were number 12. That's crazy. UMass almost pulled off a win over Buffalo. Buffalo scored a last-second touchdown. Anyway, that's what was going on around in college football. Let's look at next week's schedule. Let's look at next week's schedule to see if the Missouri Tigers will be getting College Game Day, and let's check out if what other matchups are going on, what other ranked matchups are going on. Man, we got Tuesday football, we got Wednesday football, and Friday football as well. We got all over the place. Missouri and Vanderbilt, that's right now 16 at number 17. Ole Miss at Oklahoma. They've already been to Oklahoma. USF at Memphis. Memphis just lost, so they're probably not going to be ranked. Wisconsin and Oregon. Virginia lost, didn't they? Alabama at South Carolina, no. BYU at, no. No, that's not going to be. Baylor at, no. Miami, no, they lost. Oh, A&M at LSU is probably going to get it, right? A&M at LSU is probably going to end up getting it just because of the brand recognition. They're not going to go to Vandy. I don't know. They gave a lot of Pavia airtime today. They gave Pavia a lot of airtime today. And a lot of social time on their socials. They gave him a ton of it on ESPN. Maybe they will. A&M LSU is a compelling one, though. Maybe not after LSU loses, right? LSU will still probably be in the top 25, right? Don't you think? Maybe not. Maybe it is only Mizzou Vandy. Imagine Mizzou Vandy getting College Game Day. Maybe they would do it just for the story, right? I'm just like, oh, look at this. Mizzou and Vandy. I'd be for it. Don't forget about North Dakota State at North Dakota. Oh, North Dakota State at South Dakota State being serious. Oh, yeah, that's right. That is. Yeah, they like to do that every now and again, Curtis. That's a good call on your part. Curtis Nelson says, don't forget about North Dakota State at South Dakota State and being serious. It's a top 5 matchup in FCS. Yeah, they like to throw that out there every now and again. They do. They do like to go to those FCS games every now and again. The 3028 asked, he said, with the chance to get a go-ahead score or tie, the play calling is rough for Missouri. When the opposing pass rush is gnarly, how about a screen with the best running back in the country? For sure. And I think that to answer your question, 3028, I think that their screen game was working really well. Missouri's was, even to like their wide receiver screens. The problem that Missouri has had a lot recently is they have very talented athletes and very talented wide receivers, and it's been very hard for them to figure out how to get them the football. It's like Luther Burden all over again, right? They got to get the ball into Marquise Johnson's hands. They got to get the ball into Kevin Coleman's hands. They got to get the ball in Donovan Alubade's hands. They've got to get the ball in Joshua Manning's hands. Best way to do that, those now screens, those quick little catch the ball, turn it, throw it. Right? I think that's the best way for Missouri to do it. I think you mentioned like the running back screen as well. 100%. You saw Hardy had a catch early in that game. It might have been his only catch on the day. Let me double check this. Might have been, yes, one catch for 11 yards. And he was targeted twice. He had 12 yards. How did he have one catch for 11 yards as long, and he had 12 yards after the catch, but he only gained 11 yards? That doesn't make any sense. So he had one catch, and he looked nice in that, like running after the catch. Like, you need to get him the ball, right? Like, that's the biggest thing, is like you need to get him the ball. He needs to have the football. And the more ways you can do that, the better. Missouri couldn't really move the Auburn defensive front today, so they couldn't really run the football that well. But I do like that, the idea of the screen. The screen game was working, and then they kind of went away from it. I don't really know why, especially because they were playing that like deep sag off coverage, and it was just like, all right, boom, bang, we're gonna give me the ball, I'm gonna throw it over here. That's kind of what it was doing, and it was effective. It really was. It was effective. I'm curious, let me see if I go to these stats here. They have advanced stats. Let me see if this is one of them that they have. Okay, interesting. Run stuff percentage for Missouri, rushes that are stopped for no gain or a loss. 32% of Missouri's rushes were stuffed runs, 14 of them. So 32% of those were stuffed for no gain or a loss. So Missouri had no success. They had no success running the football. And that is largely because of how well Auburn's front played. And they're a good run-stopping team. You got to figure out ways to open that up, though. I think the screen game is a good way to do it. I do. I think the screen game is a good way to do it. All right, guys. Appreciate everyone hanging out with me here live at the time. Appreciate everyone listening to this podcast after the fact. We do appreciate you guys hanging out with me here as we are kind of celebrating, recanting, exhaling over a 23-17 Missouri win over the Auburn Tigers. I don't believe. Maybe I'm wrong. Let me double check this real quick before I sign off. I want to double check this. I don't think Missouri goes to Auburn for a minute. They don't play Auburn next year. Do they play Auburn in 27? Double checking this here before we get signed off. Do they play Auburn in 27? Yes, they do, but is that Faroe? So they will not play. Missouri will not play back at Jordan-Hare until 2029. And boy, goodness, I am thankful for that, because the games that they play at Jordan-Hare Stadium are stressful, never normal, and ugly. And I am glad they don't have to go back to Jordan-Hare until 2029. All right, that's going to do it for me. Missouri wins 23-17, double overtime. Win's a win, guys. That's all that matters. They're not gonna ask you how beautiful it was at the end of the year. They're just gonna see a win in that win column. Get the hell out of Auburn with a W. That's gonna do it for me here. I appreciate you guys hanging out with me. I'll talk to you guys early next week. I think early next week, Maggie and I will be back. We'll be previewing Mizzou and Vandy. We'll have more time. We'll have more information overall about that game. Will game day be there? We already got the kickoff time, 2:30 Central Time for that one. The 2:30. That's the SEC prime time slot, baby, on ESPN. That's what they like. They want that 2:30 time slot. Oh. Excited. It's going to be a good one. We'll preview it more later on in the week. So, appreciate everyone hanging out with you. I'm Tucker Franklin. Thank you guys so much for listening to me talk about this game. Hit that like button, hit the subscribe button, and I will see you very soon.